Hi, welcome to this hypnotherapy session. In about 30 seconds, I'm going to disappear from the screen and the screen is going to go black to allow you to settle into it. So please sit down or lay down comfortably. Make sure your headphones are in if you've got them. Turn off any notifications on your phone. Hopefully, you've watched the short video introduction explaining what hypnotherapy is or isn't, but if you haven't, that doesn't really matter. So this screen's going to go black now, and I'd like you to settle down and enjoy the session. Thank you.
You don't need to feel relaxed yet. Nothing needs to change quickly. Just noticing yourself here, exactly as you are, is enough for now. Now some minds start busy, some already feel quieter, and many move between the two, wandering a little, and perhaps wondering without trying how ease begins. So there's no right way to do this, just only your way. And you might notice the simple fact you're here listening, not needing to go anywhere else right now. Thoughts can drift or stay close or move in and out like breath. And you don't have to mind that. You may simply notice the mind doing what it does in its own time. And at some point awareness may rest in the body, not as effort, just as presence. Parts of the body you're aware of, and parts that remain quiet in the background. As if your attention can gently feel and fill whichever space it lands on. And perhaps without planning to, you become aware of the breath. It's been there all along, arriving, leaving, doing its work piece by piece. And as your body finds a little more peace in the noticing. Most people don't notice breathing until it matters. And this might be that moment for you. Nothing forced, just the breath aware of itself again. And as you notice it, you might sense the system already knows how to settle. A slightly softer exhale, a little more room in the ribs. Or just the simple recognition that breathing happens without your help. There's no need to take a deep breath. The body will just know. And if nothing changes yet, well, that's just the work beginning. So awareness first and shift later. You might begin to feel a small softening somewhere, or the hint of heaviness, or the sense of being placed here in this moment. As thoughts begin to wander, and wonder where they go when they soften. And of course you don't have to guide it, and you don't have to follow it. Just be here. Let the mind decide how it listens, and the body decides how it rests. Because sometimes we understand something consciously, and sometimes we hear, and hear in a different way, one that doesn't need thinking to make sense. And as all that settles in its own way, when you're ready, or before even you realise you're ready, we can just begin to move just a little deeper. And now, as you continue to breathe slowly and evenly, awareness begins to drift inward. Each breath a quiet signal to the body. You can soften now. You can rest. Notice the gentle weight where your body meets the surface beneath you. Notice the air on your skin. The subtle movement of breath at the edges of your nostrils. The stillness forming around each sound. And with every breath, the body settles more deeply than before. The rhythm of breathing becomes the rhythm of calm. I'd like you now to maybe imagine yourself standing at the top of a long, smooth staircase. And it's softly lit and it's gently inviting. And it's safe. And I want you to, with each number I count, when I count them, you can take one easy step downwards. And with every step downwards, deeper down, your comfort will double. So on the 10th step, and the muscles behind the eyes relaxing. And stepping down to the 9th, you feel the shoulders release. Down through 8, and a warmth spreads through your chest and arms. Down to 7, and just breathing deeper now. To 6, and drifting further downwards. And on the 5th step, halfway down now, safe and steady. Down to 4, legs loose and heavy. And as you reach the 3rd step, the thoughts start drifting further apart. And 2 almost at the bottom now. And 1 stepping off, arriving in a space of complete stillness. And as you reach this special place, you simply pause and breathe. Each exhale draws you 1 layer deeper into comfort. You might even notice tiny details now. A faint pulse in the fingertip. A gentle rhythm of the heart. Each beat syncing with the breath. And that's okay, this is just your body learning the pattern of peace. And here awareness expands and contracts, like the slow movement of a tide. And as you inhale, a faint sense of lifting, as though light moves gently through the body. And as you exhale, a quiet descent, sinking a little deeper, a little further into calm. Each rise opens the door for a deeper fall. Each fall teaches the system that letting go is safe. Time begins to stretch now. Moments widen. The conscious mind loses its grip. You start to sense the quiet below thought. Even if you can hear background sounds, a car outside, a creak in the room, they just blend into depth. They become part of the rhythm that carries you deeper. And if you were to measure time, you'd find it shifting. Seconds expanding. Minutes dissolving into stillness. And that's good, because this is just the subconscious taking charge. And in that quiet stillness, your deeper mind can begin to show just how responsive it already is. You might like now, I don't know, simply to choose one of your hands, whichever hand feels right to you. There's no need to analyze or decide. Just notice which one your attention drifts to. And as that hand becomes the focus, bring awareness to one single finger, perhaps the first that draws your attention, perhaps another. So your mind will know which one it wishes to use. So just notice that finger now, its weight, its warmth, and of course the tiny pulse of life within it. And as you notice, you may begin to sense a faint impulse there, a soft current, a micro movement. You don't need to make it happen. In fact, you might have even tried to keep it completely still and just notice what happens anyway. Because when the subconscious mind is ready to respond, it often chooses the smallest possible signal, a twitch, a flutter, a movement so light it's almost imagined. And whether that movement happens now or a little later, the awareness of it tells you something deeper. That your mind and your body are listening to each other. And as soon as you become aware of that subtle response, or even the feeling that it could happen, you can just allow the whole hand to rest again. And as it settles, you drift twice as deep. Relaxation spreading outwards like the gentle ripples of calm. And every muscle now learning what ease feels like. Every cell remembering balance. And now as all systems begin to synchronize, breath, pulse, thought, each moving to the same slow rhythm, the deeper the mind is open. The surface mind pleasantly distant, as if two parts of you were working together perfectly. One resting, one listening, both in harmony. And it may feel as though you could stay here for 5 minutes or 5 hours. And the difference would mean nothing, because time inside calm has its own pace. What feels like a moment can be long enough for the subconscious to reset and to restore and to heal. So there's nothing to manage, nothing to prove, only the rhythm of breath, the steadiness of the heartbeat, and the feeling of drifting effortlessly in peace. And the deeper you drift, the quieter everything becomes, and the more ready you are for the work that follows, anchored, open, and completely at ease. And for others, stillness becomes deeper, solid, steady, a place to rest. Either way, that's your system responding. No pushing, no performing, just noticing what's there and their own way of responding. So let awareness settle now, where effort falls away and the body will know what to do without instruction. You aren't falling asleep, but if later something in you choose to do this, that's fine. The mind can rest and still know, without needing to know how it does this. Comfort doing the work, you simply being the space it happens in, and in its own good time. And now that the mind has begun to settle, and the body has already started to slow down in its own natural way, this can be a helpful moment to understand something important about chronic pain. Because in medicine, chronic pain simply means pain that has continued for longer than the body normally needs to heal. Usually longer than about 3 months. But of course that doesn't mean the pain isn't real. Pain is always real. Pain is created by the brain as part of the body's protective system. Its purpose is to warn the body, to encourage rest, to prevent further injury. But sometimes, even after an injury is healed, or after the body has been under stress for a long time, while the nervous system just remains on high alert. Almost like a smoke alarm that has become just a little too sensitive. And instead of only reacting to real danger, it begins to react to smaller signals. Signals that the brain interprets as something that still needs protecting. So the nervous system continues to produce sensation, tightness, aching, maybe pressure, burning. Different people experience it in different ways. The encouraging thing to know is that the nervous system can learn. Just as it once learned to increase those signals, it can also learn to reduce them, to calm the alarm system, to allow muscles to soften, to allow nerves to settle. Because the brain is always adjusting how strongly it sends signals through the body. And when the mind becomes calm, when the body feels safe enough, the brain often begins turning down the volume all by itself. Gradually, naturally. So nothing needs to be forced. Nothing needs to be fought. This is simply about allowing the nervous system to realise it doesn't need to keep the alarm quite so high. And now, with that understanding, you can begin gently noticing the body, allowing your awareness to move slowly through the body. Just beginning at the top of the head, again noticing the forehead, the muscles around the eyes, the jaw, and just allowing the jaw to soften slightly. Even just a small release there can send a signal through the nervous system that things are beginning to settle, and that softening can spread down through the neck, again into the shoulders, and those shoulders that so often carry tension without even realizing it, allowing them to drop even a little. Because of course the body responds very well to small signals of safety. And again, allowing awareness to move down through the arms, the elbows, the forearms, the hands, just noticing the natural heaviness there. And as the breath continues moving gently in and out, each slow breath allows the nervous system to settle just a little further. And when it feels comfortable to do so, gently bringing awareness towards the area of the body where the discomfort has been present. Not analysing it, not judging it, just observing. Just observe it almost the way scientists might observe a sensation with curiosity. Because something interesting happens when the mind stops fighting a sensation. The nervous system begins to quieten. Muscles soften. Signals change. And you know, many people discover that the moment they stop trying to push their sensation away, the body begins adjusting all by itself. Allowing it to soften slightly, or spread out, or become less demanding of attention. Because pain is not simply a signal from tissue. It is the brain's interpretation of signals coming from the body. And you know, the brain already has its own natural system for adjusting those signals. A filtering system. Nerves travelling down from the brain through the spine that can quieten unnecessary signals before they reach conscious awareness. almost as if the brain decides which messages are important and which messages can be softened. And when the mind becomes calm and the body begins to feel safe again, that filtering system often becomes more active, almost like gently closing a few of the gates through which pain signals travel, allowing some signals through, but turning the volume down on others. And as you lie there, you might imagine just for a moment, somewhere in the mind there is a small control dial for sensation. Not turning anything off, just adjusting the intensity slightly. The way someone might turn down the volume on a radio. Perhaps just lowering it a little. 5%, 10%. And many people are surprised to notice that as they imagine this adjustment, the nervous system begins to follow. Muscles soften. Nerves settle. Signals become quieter. And as the brain realizes it no longer needs to keep the alarm so high, the mind can begin spreading awareness through the rest of the body. Because even in a body that experiences discomfort, there are always areas that feel neutral or comfortable. Perhaps the hands, perhaps the feet, perhaps just the rhythm of breathing. And the mind can gently begin expanding awareness of those areas, allowing comfort to take up more space in attention. Almost as if the brain is rediscovering parts of the body that already feel settled. And the more awareness moves towards those areas of comfort, the more the nervous system begins to rebalance itself. Allowing the body to return gradually to a more comfortable baseline. And you may notice now that the sensation in that area has already begun to change slightly, perhaps softer, perhaps more distant, or perhaps simply less demanding of attention. And whatever changes occur, the body is simply learning a calmer pattern. Because the nervous system is always learning. And it can learn comfort just as easily as it once learned tension. So just allowing the body now to rest in this relaxed state. Breathing slowly. Allowing the nervous system to absorb these signals of calm. And now, as this time of calm and focus begins to draw to a close, you can allow all the useful changes from this session to continue settling quietly in the background of your mind. There's no need to think about them. They're already integrating naturally and becoming part of the way you think, feel, and respond. So the body begins to re-energize now, the mind clearing, the breath deepening, and you may start to notice small movements returning, a shift of the shoulders, maybe a swallow, or maybe the fingers or toes beginning to move. And as you reconnect with the room around you, you bring this calm awareness with you, clear, balanced, steady. And in a moment I'm going to count from 1 to 5, and with each number your energy will rise, your sharpness focus, and you return to full alertness, calm, refreshed and clear-headed. So 1, taking a deeper breath. 2, feeling energy return through the body. That's it. 3, becoming aware of your surroundings. 4, your eyes beginning to blink. Mind bright, body refreshed. And 5, eyes open now, fully awake, calm, clear, and ready to move forward.